Hey everybody, Z Garcia here, and today we're going to be getting together and solving some crimes in Detective, a modern crime board game, Season 1. Season 1 here is very much a refinement, a streamlining of Detective, a game that came out a few years ago that put you in the shoes of a detective, and you were trying to investigate a case. There are a few very specific changes between them. This is a smaller box. The other one was a larger, box. It had 5 cases in it. This one has 3. Those 5 cases were interconnected. They told a single, overreaching story. These 3 are standalone. And then there's been, like I said, a few refinements, some streamlining to the mechanisms in the game. Are all those things good? Are they bad? Do they help or hinder? Are they cutting the legs out from the system that was in Detective? Or are they streamlining it to perfection so that everybody can jump in and have a good time? Well, we'll come back to that in just a little bit, and I suspect part of that will be up to you. But before we get to it, let's go ahead and cut to the table. I'm going to show you what's going on in this. I'm not going to be spoiling anything for you. Nothing that would affect the cases in any case. And then I'll see you back up here for some final thoughts. Here we go. Here we're taking a look at everything that comes in the box. Obviously, like I said, this will be spoiler-free. So I will not be going through the cards that come in each of these decks. These are the cases. First one, Natural Causes, Blood, Ink, and Tears, and Solid Alibi. All right? Each one's 24 cards or so, and they will give you the breakdown of what's going on in the story. The general flow of the game, if you're not familiar with Detective, that this is an evolution on, is the concept is you'll have a computer or some device you can check. You log into a website they give you. You are going to be spending hours chasing down leads. You will read the beginning of a story. So, for example, if you're checking the first one here, I'll just do this from the bottom so there's no spoilers. You'll read the story there. You'll read a little bit of a story, and then there's some stuff to do down there. I'm not going to show you that. And then at the bottom there, they give you leads. Like, go check this number. And you type that into the website. They give you a breakdown. You pull a card. That card gives you some information about so-and-so, where they've been, what you find out, and then perhaps further leads at the bottom of that card. You cannot do everything with the time given, so you need to decide what you think might be worth your time. Chase that down. No one card will have the answer for you. You are just sort of gathering information and then figuring out what you think happened. You are, giving it your best effort as to what you've been able to find and puzzle together, compact together, but you don't ever find something that says, yes, absolutely, this person did it, check mark. That doesn't exist, really. So, that's the idea. You'll also be spending 1 time unit, 1 hour to travel from one location to another. Some locations say, well, you can go check this out. You have to go to the lab to do it. Great. I can go from the police station to the lab for 1 hour. You pull a card, the card says, it takes 2 hours. That's another 2 hours, and you read that card. That's how it works. When you finally get here, you are going to click on a specific location on the website and input the answers to the questions. And if you get that right, you win. That's the idea, okay? A couple of things in here. Like I said, the 3 cases. We've got this. I just want to show you. This is a sort of a thick piece of paper. It's fine. It doesn't, you're not going to use it very much. It does not to be any sturdier than this. So that is okay. Not a problem. We've got over here portraits that the cases utilize. And some cards will come up and say, they'll tell you some story and then say, gain portrait 3. Great. And so you take this and flip it over. Here's the thing, and this is not a spoiler. I'm going to show you, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't say anything. So at some point they talk about, Stephen Pruitt or something, and then you pull this out, and you're like, okay, I guess this is supposed to be Stephen. But it doesn't say that. And I don't know why it doesn't just say that. these are less than useful. They are meant to be used to build a mind map. They want you to do this. Pull out a cork board, pull out string, use these on the cork board to draw, connections between the different characters. But if I'm already reading the story, if you're handing me this and it's meant to be Steven, then just write Steven on it. Just put that right on there. It's a spoiler, maybe, but so is this entire deck. So I would have made these a little more useful. They are marginally useful at best. All right, that holds true across the board there. So there is that. These characters. In the original game, you had characters. You are playing as these people. And then they gave you some special ability. And then you would, for every character that was not being utilized, so, I'd play her. I have a special ability. And then the other two players at the table are using these two with their special abilities. Everybody else left, you'd flip over, and they would give you group tokens. These tokens to help you. So it balanced. The fewer people you had at the table, the more of these special, the more people you had, the fewer of these special tokens you have. But that's because everyone brought some special ability to the table. That's no longer true. Now everybody gets one of these, but they don't do anything. They're just a piece of cardboard. And then these still scale though. So this game will punish you for having more people at the table by giving you fewer of these, or several of the cases will, even though you aren't bringing anything unique to the table. I guess you could argue, yeah, but there's more people at the table. That's enough, maybe. But these then don't need to really be here. The only thing they're useful for is if you want to role play. If you need something to do, they tell you on the back, listen, why don't you be the one who types stuff into the computer? Because you're going to get drowned out among 3 stronger personalities. Again, if you like that, fine. You can utilize the suggestions. This person's the note taker. You write stuff down. This person's going to be the researcher. You look up stuff. This is just the reader. This is the narrator. You read the cards when we get to them. This one here is going to, what do they say? There's one that's quite a stretch. This guy's basically going to go back and check on previous things we found. Not a lot. This is like the character who is there to catch anything that falls through the cracks. So there's these. Those don't really make a lot of sense either. The cases in this game are unrelated to one another. So you can just sit down for the evening, play just one of these, and come back in a month, 2 months, a year, play this one, and it doesn't matter that you haven't played this in a long time. There's no connection between them. That is different from the original Detective, which is good. I think it's a great change. I think it's nice that you don't have to bring something you might have forgotten about to the new case because it's been so long since you played it. So there you go. I wanted to just show you that from a component point of view. These tokens are used whenever called for, by the way, and these are all the same, even though in the original Detective, they had classifications. Oh, this token only works for computer searches. This one works for this kind of test. In this one, when a token is called for on a card, it's just one of these. They're all the same. I like that. That's a good change. Simplicity helps out. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me break it down a little bit more, tell you my overall thoughts of this, compare it a little bit more, perhaps, to Detective. Here we go. All right, that is Season 1. Let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to start right at the top, work my way down. Theme. I think the theme here is excellent. Even though the 3 cases are unrelated, each one in its own right has a cool setting, a cool theme, and that works for me. Yes, it makes this cover make a little less sense, perhaps, and it makes these characters make a little less sense, perhaps, because one of them, for example, is said in an English manner. I don't know why these people are there. Like, it doesn't really, that part doesn't really make sense. Doesn't matter, though. I'd rather have that. 3 cases, each one a shot at pleasing the team, rather than one overreaching story where if folks aren't into that story, it's an all or nothing thing, right? You either like it, and you'll like it for the 5 chapters, or you won't, and it isn't going to really get better because the story is a continuation of the same story, right? So I like that. I think the theme idea here is good. Break it up, give you 3 individual things. Good idea. The aesthetics are okay. Everything, I like the look and the sort of presentation of this game. I like that. I think the portraits are a missed opportunity. They're a weird addition to the box, I think. I think the characters here are a carryover from the original game that they should have thought about a little bit more and either included them with a reason or not included them at all. Everything else I think is okay, though. The paperboard being sort of flimsy is not a big deal, like I said. The rules are all right. That works. I think the website is a good-looking website at this point. It's solid, so no issues there. But there's so little that the portraits and the player tiles here are a big part of that. There's also the fact that in this box, the box is small, like I said. It is smaller than the original one, but it's still basically empty, You can see these decks sit up here. There's a little well here, but, this is, it's basically empty, right? I mean, like, look how deep these wells are. It's a big box, and there's not a lot in it. So, that's what I mean, that the portraits are a big percentage of what's in there. All right, next up, replay value. Obviously, no, not there, okay? You're going to play each of these cases once. You can then take this and give it to somebody else, though you don't destroy anything, and it is inexpensive. I want to make that clear, okay? This lists for $30. You'll be able to find it for approximately $21. For 3 cases, that's not bad. Having said that, one of these 3 cases has been available before as a print and play or like a, find on demand or whatever. It's been available. The first one, what's it called? Natural Causes. So this is one that you might have played a version of this, I should say, previously. If you already had played Detective and you had found this one in a little pouch that they had. So that means 2 new cases for $21. Yeah, that's still okay, I think, but that just highlights the sort of push and pull of how I feel about this box, okay? So there you go. Game arc. This is my biggest issue, I think, at the end of the day with this box is the game arc. I like Detective. I cooled on it considerably, I will say that, okay? But the first impression was neat. It was way too long, but it was a good detective simulator. It put you in the shoes of a detective. It did so for about 3 hours every time, but that part was cool. You felt like you were really doing what the game said you would be doing. This is shorter. The cases are simpler. You have a higher chance of success because they are more straightforward. It's cheaper. It is the cases are self-contained. That's good. And yet there are still some issues at the core of the system that I find disheartening. The game arc, when I say that this ties to the game arc, I mean because at the end of each of these cases, when you've run out of time, you are then posed some questions. There are not enough questions. It feels like you've invested an hour and a half into finding little details, reading about this guy and that guy and this person and some shady company and whatever. And then they ask you, typically, 3 questions. And that's it. That's your score. You bomb or you get it on that. One of the cases in here is based on a single question at the end. That's my least favorite. You are asked 1 question at the end. And if you get that right, 100%. If you get it wrong, 0%. That's it. That is very unsatisfactory at the end. You're doing all these fun things and they drive the point home that it was about the journey, not the destination. Because if you get that wrong, it's a very deflating feeling, right? You thought you were doing things and then at the end it's like, oh, I hope you had fun on the way here because poof, So I don't like that. There should be more questions. Give me a chance to get a C+, I don't like the all or nothing thing, is what I'm saying. So that's my issue with game arc. Ease of play. Yeah, it's pretty good. And like I said, I think it's streamlined. There's a few little small sort of frustrations, typos, some instructions that appear on the wrong spaces and in the wrong location on a card. They ask you to make a choice, and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. This instruction shouldn't be here. It should be after these other instructions. What do you mean right now make this choice? I have no idea what you're talking about. So you'll have moments of frustration. It's undeniable, okay? Be aware of that. Overall, is the game easier to play than the original one? Yes. Is it fairly easy to play anyway? Yeah, it's fairly easy to play. Lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. It's hard to compartmentalize those three. I'm just basically going to say, is this going to engage your brain? And yes, it will. Yeah, this will make you think. This will be fun to sit around with folks trying to puzzle together the whodunit. If that's what you're looking for, a small, fairly inexpensive, 3 shots and you're done game in which you're going to sit around with a couple of friends, read some cards, solve some whodunit, I think you're going to have a good time with that. And I think that's reflected here in the tactics, strategy, luck. Is your brain engaged? Are you feeling like you're conversing with everybody and making progress on what's going on? Yes. You might be disappointed at the end with those 3 questions or 1 question, but it's there, okay? A couple of other things I want to mention here that I wrote down as I was playing the 3 cases. I do like that more streamlined means that there's less time before we're playing and solving clues. There's less, there are fewer rules to digest, which means we get to the playing faster. I like that. Everything else, actually, I said as I was talking about that it should be based on more questions. Portraits seem disconnected and unnecessary. All of those things. So there you go. Hopefully that's, I think that's everything I wanted to say. If in a bubble, if somebody said, what should I buy? Detective, the original, or Season 1, this spin-off streamlining? I would say get this. I would. I think it's better. At the end of the day, I think this is a better box. It's cheaper. But it's also a better example of what I think most people will enjoy. I think Detective is a more esoteric experience. If someone plays this and they go, I want more. I want this to be, a struggle. I want to play this not for 90 minutes. I want it to be 3 hours and involved. I want to have to get up and make coffee at least 4 times while I'm playing. Go get Detective, okay? If that sounds a little grueling and you want to get in, get out, but 90 minutes, maybe at tops 2 hours, and you can play 1 now, put this down, come back in a few months, play another case, no problem, no connection between them, then yes. Do I think you'll have fun? Yes. Pay $20 for this. You'll have a good time with it. Do I think they missed a lot of opportunities here to go from that original big, involved thing to something that was really, really digestible and cleaned up and had a good arc for everybody? Yeah, I think they missed some opportunities. I think with the experience that Dad brought, with the experience of all the players that have already played the game, yes, I think they missed some opportunities here to make the end game better, to make the entire experience a little more seamless. Okay, so there you go. Overall, I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. I certainly recommend it, like I said, if you like this kind of game, but be aware you're going to have a couple of issues, I suspect. All right, there you go. That is it from me, everybody. That's Detective Season 1. Check it out if it sounds like it's something up your alley. I think you'll find some fun in there. My name is Z Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.